So people are gearing up to watch the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs for the biggest night in football, and we will not touch on who is rooting for what team right now, but last year's Super Bowl was the most watched of all time with more than 123 million people watching the game.
Now, whether you're in it for the halftime performance, the famous commercials, or the actual game itself, you are not alone if this big event offers you just a few hours to mentally escape. There's actually science behind that, according to mental health professionals. So joining us today is Catherine Greenhaw, licensed professional counselor with ThriveWorks in Pflugerville. She specializes in coping skills, depression, and anxiety. Catherine, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate being here, and I love talking about such an important topic.
It really, really is. Okay, so for people who are hearing us talk about this word escapism and are like, what are you talking about? Many of us may not even really realize that in our heads that is what's happening. So explain how it works.
Yeah, so escapism is kind of like our normal tendency to distract ourselves from the unpleasant things that happen in our normal day realities. And so one of the main things that we typically do for escapism is we seek entertainment.
And we want to, of course, dig into some of what that looks like for people. But first, we want to go backwards. We want to talk about the reasons why someone might be looking for a mental escape. We know ThriveWorks recently surveyed people about what is making them anxious. So we've got a bit of those survey results here for people. It found finances, the escalating cost of living topped the list. After that, war and conflict is weighing heavily on people's minds, along with natural disasters.
And some of the other factors include political news, social and racial inequities, and climate change. Catherine, we wanted to ask you though, what are you hearing from your clients? Is that representative of what they're telling you about what's maybe causing some stress or anxiety in their life?
No, absolutely. I mean, we see a wide range of different reasons why people come to therapy. And like you said, that one of the top ones is cost of living. Obviously, in this at this time as well, politics is huge. You mentioned war and conflict. Those are also really big. The natural disasters, especially here in Texas with the weather changing. So those are big stressors we're seeing.
Okay, so getting back into it, you talked about entertainment. I think people have some things that come to mind of maybe how they mentally escape from their stressors in their lives. The one we're talking about today, of course, sports. Why do you think, the Super Bowl sports has such a big draw for people to maybe, forget their worries for a few hours?
Well, the plus about sports is that it brings people together. So we're all sharing a mutual activity that we all enjoy. You're rooting for teams. It gets people excited. We're indulging in drinking and food and fun and family and friends. And so it brings a lot of those, it fosters a lot of those different things for people.
Yeah, and I think sometimes there is a concern about maybe there being too much of a good thing. Are there any red flags that maybe escapism has gone too far that people should pay attention to?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the things that escapism can be really good, but it's not inherently bad, but it needs to be taken in moderation. So I mean, obviously, if you're avoiding priorities, if we're not focusing on work, if we're not meeting other just normal daily responsibilities, that is when we can start to see that it's becoming unhealthy, when we're being consumed by these things and not making sure we're spreading our time a little bit better.
Do you have any practical tips for how someone may be able to kind of check in with themselves and say, is this a healthy amount of escapism, or am I maybe relying on it a little too much to process what's going on in my life?
Time management is huge, and I think one of the main questions I would probably encourage people to ask is what is it that I'm escaping from, and trying to understand that a little bit more. And then, like I said, that time management, trying to balance, okay, well, if I'm not going to spend all day watching sports, I'm going to spend maybe an hour watching sports, and then make sure I'm also attending to my other needs, tending to my other priorities that I have.
Yeah, definitely some things to consider for people out there, just to healthily monitor those things. But Catherine Greenhaw with ThriveWorks in Pflugerville, we want to say thank you so much again for joining us this morning, and we hope to have you back sometime soon to talk about other things. So thanks again.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, everybody, we will send you to break, and we'll be right back after this.